Good morning, YouTube. My name is Angie Sims. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I didn't realize my last video was 4 months ago. I thought I had one a lot sooner than that, but apparently I did not. And I needed to put up some videos. It's been a while. I know in the last video I spoke about being in a huge reading slump, and that was the biggest reading slump I've been in, and I'm slowly coming out of it, so I'm happy about that. So in this video, I figured I'll go over what I'm currently reading and do a little book haul. I did get some more books. I have my stack over here. And then also show you 2 coloring books that I've also have gotten recently. And just go from there. I'm sorry for being away for so long. Part of that is just being busy, being a mom. It's currently 6:30 here where I live. I'm trying to speak as clear as I can, as loud as I can. Both my kids are still sleeping, which is why I've got the lights off on the rest of the house. I'm currently recording in the kitchen. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this video. It's been way too long. I've missed you guys. So the book that I'm currently reading, I'm going to show it to you on my tablet because I'm currently reading it on my Kindle. So I don't have the physical copy of this book. And that is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. I apologize if I mispronounced that last name. So basically this book is about, we follow the main character Chloe, who, when she was about 12 years old, 6 young teenage girls went missing and ended up being murdered. The murderer ended up being her father, and he goes to jail for it. The story fast forwards to Chloe being an adult and her father's still in prison, and she has become a psychologist. And it was one particular ordinary day, one girl ends up going missing, and then another girl ends up missing, and Chloe realizes that the similarities of these girls that went missing are very similar to the girls her father murdered when she was 12 years old. And it's basically her realizing the similarities and feeling that there's a copycat killer out there, and she's trying to figure out who is doing this. I've been reading this book for a while. Not that I'm not enjoying it, I am. Again, just busy with the mom life and work. But I do feel like the story's moving a little bit slow. I would like it to be a little bit faster. However, where I'm at right now feels like it is starting to pick up more. So I do like that. But I'm just dying to figure out who the heck is this murderer? Who's the copycat? But yeah, once I finish reading that book, I'll give you guys my honest opinion about it and just go from there. For now, to go over the books that I've gotten, I've got them from different places: thrifting, free libraries, the free little libraries, there's actually what's called a vendor mall nearby us. It's basically like an indoor flea market, if you will. And so some of those are there. The two coloring books that I'll show at the end, one was Amazon, and then I'll explain how I got the other one. But fast forward. To continue, the first book I got, this was from a free little library, and that is The Goonies. Now, normally I don't like these size books. Just never been a huge fan of these little books. But my daughter found this at the free little library we were at. And because myself and my husband were huge fans of the Goonies, we've watched the movie like a million times. I was like, you know, I'm going to make an exception on this one because it's the Goonies. So, yeah, the Goonies. If you don't know the Goonies about, it was a group of kids in the 80s that they live in this little town that is basically it's being threatened to be destroyed or turned into something else unless the kids' parents pay up to keep their houses, and it's an incredible an impossible amount to pay. And these kids come across this treasure map and then decide to go on this adventure to find the treasure. So it's basically their journey of finding the treasure. Do they find it or not? What happens during that time? And like I said, my husband and I, we love the movies. They were directed by Steven Spielberg, which you can see right there, Steven Spielberg. In the little blurb here, it says, they call themselves the Goonies. The secret caves, the old lighthouse, the lost map, the treacherous traps, the hidden treasure, and Sloth join the adventure. And I'm just excited to read the book, because I've never read the book. I've only watched the movies, funny enough. But yeah, the Goonies. The next book that I got, this one was from a vendor mall, and it was kind of funny that I came across it, and it's in really good condition, is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I have heard so much good things about this book, sorry. All I know about it is it's a mystery, and I really enjoy mysteries and thrillers. So I thought, why not? And I just noticed in the very back, you get a little snippet of another book from this author. Which is really cool. So on the back, it says, if anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. That speaks delicious mystery to me. And as you can see, this was from a flea market. Well, they call it a vendor mall, it's basically a flea market. It's in really, really good condition. It's funny when you open that little slit, it's got all different blurbs and other authors raving about this book. And it was really, really cool that I saw. Where'd it go? There's a map, guys. A map. And on the next page, there's a family tree. So that's going to be interesting. And I'll go ahead and write down the names of all these books that's mentioned in this video in the description below. So if you guys are interested in these books, you can pretty much find these on your Amazon, thrift books, half price books, Barnes & Noble. Yeah. The next book that I got, this was from another free little library, and this is Patch Adams, MD, with Maureen Mylander, and it's called Gesundheit. I have been wanting to get this book forever. Dr. Patch Adams, he's a real doctor who, while he was in medical school, he has a very goofy personality. You know, his goal is to make the patients smile and laugh, including the kids that are, that are sick in the hospital. And in his time, that was kind of frowned upon. And if I remember correctly, he actually got kicked out of that med school program. And so he created his own hospital. He built his own hospital. He got some friends that were med students. They built their own hospital. And it just grew. And this book is about his story. And right here, it's a picture of him there and him being silly there. My husband had showed me the movie. Robin Williams plays as Patch Adams. He did a fantastic job, by the way. And I just loved it. Wait a minute. If anybody can read that, I don't know whose signature that is, but if it's Patch Adams, I'm gonna go nuts. Because I didn't even notice that until I opened them up now. Chase your dreams. What I can make out. I think that might be Patch himself. Oh my gosh, if it is, holy cow, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I'm like really excited to read this. I'll probably just read like every so often a chapter or two. Whenever. Apparently there was a card in here with somebody's name, Victor Frank, page 98, and it was in page 98. So I'm not sure what that would be. Oh, Victor Frank. Apparently it's a man who lived in concentration camps. Wow. I'll have to read that later, but I'm getting distracted, sorry. But Gesundheit. If you don't know anything about Patch Adams, I highly recommend you look him up, watch the movie. Yeah. I would have loved to meet this man in person. I don't know if he's still alive. I want to say he is. But yeah. Oh, and to mention the hospital that he builds and creates completely free, because he understands how the regular hospitals, how the medical treatments are just so expensive that people nowadays can't afford it. And so his hospital, all the medical treatments are free because he knows there's people out there that need medical treatment. They don't get it because they can't afford it. And so his hospital gives the treatment they need free of charge. This next book, my husband actually found for me while he was at work. He happened to drive by another free little library and decided to stop and check it out because he knows how much I love books. And he picked this one up because he thought I might like it. It does sound interesting. However, this particular one is a second book of the series. So I definitely look into getting the first book of this. Now this one's called, it's Summerhill Secrets, as you can see, book 2, by Beverly Lewis. Beverly Lewis is a Christian author. She writes obviously Christian fiction. But I've heard a lot of good things about her writing. And I thought of getting into her books, and my husband happened to pick one up, so I was really excited. On the back here it says, join Mary Hansen, a very modern 16-year-old living in Pennsylvania's Amish country, as she faces the true-to-life struggles and heartfelt triumphs of growing up to be the best she can be in God's eyes. Sorry, I was trying to fight a burp from coming up when I was reading that. So this sounds like a really nice, clean Christian series that I'd like to get into. The cover is actually really pretty. Now I just need to find the first book. Of these. Hold on. So, oh, okay. I just noticed on the back of the book, it's not just one story. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it looks like, separate stories that all make it connect to one another, that all connect with Mary. I think I'm saying her name correctly. It's spelled Merry. I think that's still Mary. So there's House of Secrets, there's Echoes in the Wind, Hide Behind the Moon, Windows on the Hill, and Shadows Beyond the Gate. So, oh, this is by Bethany House. I've heard this publishing group, they tend to publish some really good Christian books. So I'm excited to find the first one so I can start on this book. Well, not this one, but the first one, and then be able to get into this one. This next book I think I got it from a vendor mall. Yes, it was another vendor mall. Actually, the next 2 books were in a vendor mall. So this one is Mr. Lemoncello's Library, Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library, by Chris Grabenstein. Now, they had not recently, but a while ago, they came out with I can't remember if it was a movie or a TV show. I think it was a movie based on this book. And basically, it revolves around this one kid named Kyle, and who was a huge fan of Mr. Lemoncello. Apparently, he's a one-of-a-kind guy. It's almost like a Willy Wonka, if you will, but with a library. And kids everywhere, they collect his cards, almost like, how like kids today with the Pokemon cards. And then one day, Mr. Lemoncello makes an announcement. He sends out these cards that he has created a special game in a special library to celebrate the grand opening of a special library. And there's like a little competition with the kids of the town, and only 5 can win the competition to go into Mr. Lemoncello's library and basically do the games in there. And the last one out from the library, or last 2, whoever comes out, the first ones to come out, wins. And I enjoyed the movie. It is a middle grade. The little games that are there, the the imagination that's in there is just really cool. Like, I don't want to do spoilers, but really quick, there is a part where you use a book to basically levitate in the air and fly up to the higher shelves in the library to try to pick out certain books. You actually get to go inside the stories, and that's really cool. I know, fellow book readers, we wish that we can just, open the book and just step inside that story and just be in that world for that moment. And I thought that was really cool. And once I saw that, I wanted to get the book so I can compare it to the movie. And I was excited to find it there. And in the back of this book, I don't know if it's all editions or if I just happen to have a unique one, but it includes a Q&A with the author himself, and it says a bonus puzzle and more. So I'm not sure what else is in here. But speaking about Willy Wonka, I just noticed there's a blurb on the back here, right where my thumb is. It says, a worthy successor to the original madman puzzle master himself, Willy Wonka. And I just said that. That is basically like Willy Wonka, but instead of a big chocolate factory, we're dealing with a special library. Alright, this is another one I can't wait to get into. It's a very, very short read. It's only, 288 pages. And then that's the extra stuff in the back. So, not too big of a book. I've never heard of this author before, so I'm really excited to read this book, and I'm really hoping I enjoy this book. If I do, I might look into more of this author's books and see, what other books he's written. Because I do like the occasional middle grade. I'm still currently reading Keeper of the Lost Cities. Absolutely love that series. Can't wait to complete that series. I'm kind of taking my time with it. Not only because they're really thick books, because I want to move slowly with that world. Because the author hasn't announced when the next book is going to come out yet, but they have kind of hinted it's going to be soon. So I'm trying to read them in a slower pace, so by the time I get to the last one and finish it, hopefully the very last book, which is book 10, book 10, comes out, I'll be ready to read it. I don't want to get through the whole series and be left on a cliffhanger for like ever until that next book comes out. However, she started writing the graphic novels of that series, and she released the first one last year, I believe, and I have that one, and she just announced that at the end of this year, book 2 of the graphic novel will be coming out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it or not. Most likely I will, just to continue the series. But yeah, go from there. That was that one. And then this other book, also from the vendor mall, and I gotta figure out how to get these stickers off. If you know a safe way to get the stickers off from these covers without ruining the cover, then please let me know. And this is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. This is another series that I had been wanting to get into. I watched the movie. I have a bad habit of watching the movie before reading the books. But I watched the movie and I got really intrigued and I wanted to read the series once again to compare it. And basically, this is about where the world, people get separated into two separate groups, the Uglies and the Pretties. And the Uglies stay in a world where it's almost like the districts in Hunger Games, where they're basically struggling to survive. They barely have anything to eat. They have to follow strict rules. And then the Pretties is like the capital in the Hunger Games. And basically, when the teenagers turn 16, they go through the specific procedure to become pretty, and they live in I forget what it's called. I don't remember, but they live in this big mansion, just like President Snow, where all the pretties live, and they always party and they have fun. And so all the teens that are considered uglies, their dream is to become pretty so they can live that world. And we follow 15-year-old Tally, who's about to turn 16, and she wants to be pretty more than anything in the world. And she ends up becoming friends with another girl named Shay, who's the same age. But Shay doesn't want to become a pretty. She knows there are some secrets behind being pretty, and she tells Tally about a secret group that are outsiders, if you will, of people who never wanted to be pretty, that they understand that they're naturally pretty themselves. They don't need to have a procedure to become pretty. And they live in the outside world in secrecy, and Shay wants Tally to come with her, but Tally is resisting, basically, and doesn't want to go with her until the president, like President Snow, basically persuades Tally to secretly invade the outsiders group, try to get information, and persuade Shay to come back and have her procedure to be pretty. And of course, it doesn't go so well for, the president, just like the Hunger Games, and Shay, or not Shay, but Tally's trying to figure out, is being pretty really all it's said to be, or is it all a lie? And basically her trying to figure out her self-worth. And I've heard a lot of good things about this series. There's a lot of action. I was told if you're a really big fan of the Hunger Games, then you would really enjoy this one. So yeah, I can't wait to start it. And hopefully be able to continue the rest of the series. I don't remember how many books are in this series. Okay, there's 3. It's a trilogy. I just wrote it in the back here. So, yeah. The Uglies. And these last 2 books. I thought I had book 2 and 3 when I grabbed them at the Goodwill. Turns out I have book 2 and 4. But that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I did currently check out book 1 on the Libby app. So I do have it on my Kindle. So as soon as I finish the book I'm currently reading, I will jump into the first book so I can start the series. This is another series that I've heard a lot of good things. My daughter's best friend read this series and she raved about it. She said she liked it. I'll go ahead and I'll show you book 2 and 4. But it's the Legend series. Obviously the first book is The Legend, which I don't have currently. But if I enjoy the first book that I have on my Kindle right now, I will definitely get the physical copy of, book 1 and book 3, so that way it completes, the series. But this is book 2, and it's called Prodigy by Marie Lu. So this is book 2. I don't want to say what this one is about and book 4 is about, because then it's going to spoil book 1. And then book 4 is Rebel. And it's funny, is I got these from the Goodwill, and I was kind of laughing that whoever had it before me got them from half price books. It's funny because they have a sticker there. But then in the book 2, the sticker's inside the book, which is the smarter idea. So, not sure why they decided to put the sticker in different spots of the book, but they did. Again, I need to try to figure out how to safely remove the stickers, but I just love the colors and the covers. Here, let me show you them side by side. They just look really, really cool. What's funny is on the back of the 4th book, it says, respect the legend, idolize the prodigy, celebrate the champion, but never underestimate the rebel. How do I explain these without any spoilers? I think the safest thing is I may look up the first book real quick and go from there, because I don't really remember what the first book is about. I know there is some romance in it. It's another one of those, if you like the Hunger Games or the Divergent series, then this is a good one to get into as well. Let's see if I can find you.